So it's raining, and I'm in Pennsylvania, where I always am. And I bought some. I know, another square body. It's almost surprising. It's a 76 with an 86 body. It's obviously a rollback. I'm guessing it's a C30. God, I hope it is. So here's the interesting part. LS. Yep, it already has a 6-liter in it. Has some issues. Someone swapped it, and I use that term loosely. Has an overheating issue. I wouldn't be able to tell you why. And they carbureted it. Has the MSD LS doodad. It has a Street Demon like copy of a freaking thermal quad on it, plastic carburetor. But the hydraulic doodads back here work, so that's all I'm worried about, because this is all black magic to me. I have no idea how the hell any of that works. So that's good. So looked at it, seems good. About to drive it back to my house and get to find out probably why it was really sold on the way. Here we go. What a beautiful day to buy a truck. Cruise these beautiful Pennsylvania roads here. And we already broke down.
We are hot and the clutch sucks.
I told you the clutch sucks. So you're saying that the story that it only overheats when you're not moving might be a lie?
This can suck.
I don't think there's any pressure in it. I say I don't think there's any coolant in it would be the more accurate description. Oh, that breather is letting that pesky smoke out of the engine. So the fitment on that Chinese radiator ain't that good, I'm guessing. No antifreeze.
Now it's full at the top.
It's not circulating.
Whatever.
Well, I found one of 100 problems. The radiator hoses are ice cold. It's not circulating any antifreeze. And I just noticed, and the steam hose is going in the top of the reservoir. So it's unpressurizing the freaking cooling system. Nice. And here I was being silly, thinking this wasn't going to be an interesting YouTube video because we're just going to drive this thing home. Nothing's going to happen. Well, it made it about 2 miles. So I have a suspicion that there's no antifreeze in the engine. Story is he bought this truck for like $6,500, and then he took it into his mechanic who put a radiator in it, and then ever since then it's been overheating. Well, I think I'm going to find like a few reasons why. But I also think there's no antifreeze in the engine, because I think the radiator is just full and is a giant air bubble, because all the hoses are cold and you can squeeze them even when the radiator cap's on. I know the cap's off right now, but it's building no pressure. Both hoses are ice cold, but the motor is like melting. So I'm going to try filling it through the upper hose here and see if that solves the situation. So I pulled the hose off and I'm as shocked as you are. Wonder why it's overheating. So hopefully we didn't cook the motor. He didn't cook the motor, which is why he's selling it. Because we basically jumped on this because it was a screaming deal, because it was cheaper than like every other rollback we've been looking at recently, and it already had nice LS in it. So yeah. And now it's going to flash boil the water once it gets in the block.
Oh yeah.
It's not coming out of the radiator yet, so the engine still isn't full. Ooh, there we go. Yeah, it'll come out down here on this upper radiator hose when it's full. Oh, here we go.
It's very upset.
Yep. Why is it overheat? Oh, there it goes.
Makes you flash boil.
Yep. good for you.
It's not.
It's exfoliating.
It'll be bad for every layer of my epidermis and my dermis.
Yeah, see, all that happened here was they just filled the radiator and it's just down to the thermostat. There's no antifreeze made into the engine at all because the thermostat's in the bottom hose. Ooh. Listen to it. Listen to it. Hey, it's a little better when the coolant's circulating. It only took about 3 of those buckets. Is it cool now? Is it cool?
140 and dropping.
Yeah. Funny. Well, we'll see how much of that is like ambient steam or actual steam from the engine. But after putting about 3 gallons of water in it, now it's good at like 140. Oh, the heat works now too. It's amazing. Okay, well, we ate lunch. Oh, John's grinding the shit out of it. Yep, going good. And now the clutch is broken. I was about to say we're going to pull away, but I think the clutch just broke. As you can tell by that. But see if he knows it. Yeah, there you go. He can do the trick to turn it off and then put it in gear. Yep, and we're off. We're currently en route to our next location to break down on the way home. At least this trip home is only like 10 miles. We're about to see how it does going up the mountain by the ski resort here. This is pretty much vertical for the next few miles. So hopefully the clutch doesn't slip. Well, actually he also can't downshift, so I guess we're in for an adventure. He hasn't reached flasher level slowness yet, so we're doing pretty good. Only like 10 miles an hour under the speed limit. Okay, make that like 15 miles an hour under the speed limit. Made it to the top. Now it's time for the downhill. Whee! Hope he has brakes. Made it. Stopped raining. Sun's coming out. Now that it's not raining, the truck will probably be flawless. Here we go with the old pop start special in creeper gear. Try and get up the driveway. He drove it all the way home in second. Thought it was good compromise. There we go. Ooh. Creep your gear power. Well, now that it's home and sunny, we can actually look at what we bought.
Mistake.
I noticed when we were there, this had a hydraulic clutch. Any fluid in it?
No.
And I noticed that...
Do you have any fluid?
Oh yeah, probably. I think it's homemade, because that's not the right master. And then it looks like they made a pedal. Racing pedal. Now we're gonna play with the rollback body and see if it actually does anything. Oh, there we go. At least this part works. I really don't care if the entire engine bay bursts into flames. I can fix that. This is completely black magic, and all this works. And take a look at the chassis here. The guy at least had new exhaust installed. They did like an okay job. He said it had glass packs on it and it was terrible. You can see the old Ignito fuel filter on it. Yep. Tried out the high idle cable. Winch works a bit quicker now. Nice. Well, it stopped raining and it's somewhat sunny out, so let's examine this pig. So at some point it had a wheel lift on it that got cut off. I don't really feel like examining all that, but it looks like it did have a wheel lift on it. I'll show you the issue of why it lost the clutch. And that is, it has some homemade brake, or clutch pedal. Look at that. That apparatus right there. So that's the clutch setup. And I noticed when I test drove it, it engaged like an inch off the floor. But I just figured it was because it was goofy. Well, it lost all the fluid, so it has some random clutch master cylinder on it. Also, the speedometer doesn't work. He has a GPS speedometer. None of the, well, it doesn't have gauges as warning lights. None of that works. So there's some like random gauges down there. The heat works. Don't know about all that stuff. We should have known better. There was a gallon of antifreeze on the floor. That's always a good sign. To show you the engineering under the hood here. There we go. So there's the clutch master. I don't know what that is out of, but it's not like the other square body clutch masters I've seen. This thing here with like the nuts missing, the pedal is like attached to that somehow. They put their own clutch line down there that rubs in the steering column. It's just clean install. The old Z-bar is still down there. It's just laying disconnected. So I haven't really even seen what the hydraulic setup is on this, but or the hydraulic clutch, but I'm kind of afraid. It's got dual batteries, like they're physically there. Yeah, they're like 2 Econo powers, like 2 totally different batteries, and the cables look like garbage. Ground's like under there. You can tell it's got like good wiring here. Look at this. Yeah, these open butt splice connectors are always a good sign, especially when you have multiple ones in the same wire. Going over here, oh look, vampire clip, good. It's like 30 inline fuse holders. Take a look at the throttle setup. So yeah, that's also interesting. It had a drum brake spring on it as a throttle return spring. We have no idea why. Like, it felt like you were going to break the gas pedal when you touched it. So we pulled that off to drive it home. Other than that, I mean, it kind of looks like standard LS swap. It has some like Chinese eBay headers, it looks like universal, the slidey type like motor mount adapters. No fan shroud, but mechanical fan. That's not really doing much. It kind of looks like there's a possibility a shroud might fit that though. I'll see if I can find something maybe. So I kind of like to keep the mechanical fan just because like they always work. They put an electric fan on the front here, but that does nothing. Because it's like what, a $30 like part store one. And they're, for some reason, they're have it as a pusher fan when there's more than enough room to have it as a puller. Let's see what else we got here. Heater hose disconnect for some reason. More like good wiring. Has the MSD like contraption to fire the coils. Have to look into that because they have it on like an LS2 setting. I'm guessing that's like a timing curve. So I don't know why it wouldn't be on truck. But it could probably use like a hose there in the breather because this is covering that coil in oil. This is supposedly a 6-liter. I'll have to see if I can see on the front of it or not. But I think this is, I don't think this is a square body radiator. Maybe it is. But I think it might be like a 90s truck or something because it has those kind of like trans cooler fittings in it. When it broke down, we put this Sharpie in the steam line here because it was just not allowing the cooling system to pressurize. Didn't overheat the rest of the way home after we put some coolant in it. So I'm pretty sure that once, well, I'm pretty sure it was just airlock. So once we got some coolant in the block now, it seems to not overheat at all. It's pretty good. There was their steam port, so that does a lot. More good battery wiring. Yeah. Said more fuse holders for some reason. It has a, I believe this is a Street Demon carburetor. It's plastic, like a thermoquad. I think it's kind of loosely based on a thermoquad. Could be wrong, but it actually runs like really good. So initially I was going to be like, oh man, we'll EFI it right away. But I don't know, maybe I'll just tidy up some of this just hack stuff in here. Oh yeah, it's got a fuel pressure regulator. It has to have like a clickety-clack fuel pump somewhere, I'm guessing. Because I saw that pre-filter on the tank. So I'm guessing there's one of those pumps located somewhere. But I mean, I don't know, it actually is decent. Like I say, I could use some improved engineering, let's say. These abomination for headlights have to go and get regular glass headlights back in it. This side isn't really smashed. It needs cab corners, but the rockers are actually like there, surprisingly. So the bodywork's not too bad. It has a floor. I think under the floor was good. Just needs the cab corners. And then over here it got smashed in. Oh yeah, the whole body is off another truck, by the way. The frame is a 76. The body's like an 84. You can see it's a 3/4 ton truck body that had the smaller mirrors on it too. So they completely cab swapped it. Yeah, it got caved in on the sides. That kind of sucks. But overall, not too bad. Guess I'll be updating you as I slowly fix this thing. But I'll tell you, we got a pretty good deal on it for a rollback. Like it was on the cheaper end of rollbacks to start with. And then I think as far as the fact that it already has like a pretty much operational LS in it, just needs some fine tuning. I mean, I think it's ahead of the game. So yeah, more on this thing soon.